Everybody, welcome to G for G here on YouTube. Today we're taking a look at the newest hero in Heroes of the Storm, and that is Genji. So he comes to us from Overwatch, and he is one of the several Overwatch heroes that is currently in the game, along with Tracer, Lucio, Zarya. So he is a lot of fun. He sometimes can be squishy tiny bit, but not as bad as like Lunara or something when Lunara first started, or a Chromie. He's pretty good, pretty resilient. He plays very similar to how he would in Overwatch. He's very divey, and there are certain healers that are good for him, and certain teammates like Medivh is good for Genji. I have a Zarya, which is good. Although we didn't really team up too often. Brightwing is what I pulled as a healer over here. I would say somewhat okay in the sense that if the Brightwing has a good solid sheep, it is a nice setup for Genji. But a Lucio is a little bit better to augment Genji's speed. So here I am, kind of playing conservative. Sticking along the back, jumped in, did a deflect, and took out the Thrall. So as you can see, that kill counted to me, and right here, in the beginning, I have the highest hero damage, but this is not going to last particularly long. For talents at level 1, I picked Swift as the Wind. Hitting an enemy here with Swift Strike increases my movement speed by 30% for 3. So this is very good for get in, get out poke. I like to make sure that, if possible, one of my 2 escapes is available anytime I engage. So, for Genji, his escapes are his Swift Strike, which is the dash, but he also has a D trait of jump, including over obstacles. And we will definitely be seeing that come into play. But I like to kind of play conservative a little bit on Genji and hang around in the background, pegging people with shurikens, especially if I'm on the shuriken quest, which I am on this one. The first match that I played with Genji, I was with a bunch of Brazilians, and we were not working together. We had a hammer who was DC'd right from the beginning. It was on and off. Not a good match. Went a heavy deflect build and didn't work out too well. So here, I'm holding it just because I'm in the middle of something. But this is Hanamura, by the way. This is the newest map. Comes to us from Overwatch. And because we escorted the payload successfully, it fires on the core. And now we're both 6 out of 7 over here. So, for my talent, I went with Shuriken Mastery, which, spoiler alert, I do complete. I have to hit 35 heroes, and the damage is increased by 30. After hitting 75, Cyber Agility now refunds 2 charges of Shuriken. So here I like to tangle with this Artanis a little bit. So I actually used both of my escapes there. I did my dash and I did my jump. It just, you know, being a bruiser, he didn't have enough to finish me off. If that was like a Butcher or a Lunara or something like that, I likely would have been dead. I got lucky on that one. I love how he just completely stands so straight on that mount. It looks very zen, but very aggressive at the same time. So Genji versus Artanis is a good matchup if you can kite properly. And there was my jump to get back to safety over there. But If you can kite and avoid the prisms, you are a really good counter to Artanis. As for laning, I don't think Genji's that great at laning. And you kind of want to reserve your shuriken shots for combat. Especially if you're on the quest, which is what I'm doing here. I got a Zarya shield on that one. But I didn't want to go particularly dive heavy over there. Here we get popped with the reveal shot, so they killed one of the camps. That gave them that reveal shot. Here, committing to some poke. Put up the deflect. And there was my two get out of jail free cards used back to back. That's how I like to play my Genjis, just a little bit on the conservative side. Here I dive, go for the body block, get the thrall, and get TK421. Why aren't you at your post? Jumped in to get the Artanis, but he was already dead. And now that we have the level 7 talents, I have picked Augmented Guard, which says when Genji finishes his deflect, he gains a shield equal to 50% of the damage blocked. I have 3 kills, so I'm leading the team in kills, not leading anything in assists, and my hero damage is kind of poo. But I'm living, and my siege damage is really poo, but my experience is good. So here we've got a pretty big fight going on. You see me walking away from the fight a little bit because I'm waiting for shurikens to recharge, but once they do, I go in, put up the deflect. There's that shield from Zarya. That Li Ming kind of saves the Artanis a little bit because I was aiming for him. I was tunneling on his low health, and the Li Ming got in the way of some shuriken shots and tanked them for the Artanis, which is kind of hysterical if you think about it. Here we're waiting for the payload to spawn, which looks very StarCrafty, honestly. It looks like some kind of an NPC unit you might see in a StarCraft map. Like, protect the payload as it delivers supplies to the civilians. So that was actually my Dragon Blade, believe it or not. Even though it didn't really announce it, and you didn't see it very well graphically, that's why the sword was out in front. And this was a really big overcommit, and my jump did not take me over the wall, but fortunately deflect is up, and Artanis gave up. If Artanis had stayed on me there, he might have netted a kill. I overplayed my hand on that one a little bit. So, at the midway point in levels, I've got 4 kills, 6 assists, and kind of okay hero damage. It came up a little bit on that. Still leading on experience for the entire server, which I find ridiculous. I don't know how that happened. As you can see here, there's my Dragon Blade, and it's cooling because it was used in that fight, even though it was not particularly obvious. We're up 11-9. We have 13 kills. They have 0. Fourth stand at 4 apiece, and we're at the almost 9-minute mark. Again, got ahead of the Li Ming and came back towards her, just in case she teleported. I knew I would be far enough ahead that I'd be working my way back to her. This is not Genji's default skin, by the way. It's the default actor, or the default body, but it is a alternative shard-based skin, which you can see my difference from the enemy Genji a little bit. My mask is different, my sword's different. Here, I was just delaying. That was, see, there was my Dragon Blade again, but it was a waste because Thrall just melted, so unfortunate overkill to ult over there. Basically, I'd been helping push the cart back, saw the fight, and decided to jump in. Again, a little bit of an overcommit, but I have the jump, which gets me out. So, I just considered it tempered aggression on Genji. It's not friggin' crazy dive, but it's not ridiculously conservative either. And that was a good deflect on my part. There was a lot of damage coming at me there. I did not go Dragon Claw on this map, so I'm going to pause it for a second. One of the earlier talents he has, I believe it is the Shuriken Mastery tier 4. He has a talent that allows him to store up the damage from deflect, and when you hit enough, you get an ability that you can burst everybody around you with it. It reminds me a little bit of Zul's Bone Spear, in the sense of, you know, an extra ability through a talent, but it's not as linear as the Bone Spear, and basically you store damage done to you while deflecting, and then you release it. So here I'm just catching up to the team, seeing if we're getting into a fight. We ping a boss, so I back up. We have 17 kills. They still have 0. I'm 5-9-0. Medium hero damage. Still leading the server on experience. Don't really know why that's happening, considering my siege is not high. So there's the enemy Genji. We get hit with the reveal again, but this time I'm not one of them. So I'm just poking with my shurikens, trying to do my 75 mastery. At this point I was at my 30. So now I'm working up to my second stage of shuriken mastery. And I went ahead and picked up Shingon, hitting an enemy hero with all 3 shurikens deals 192 bonus damage. That's a tough talent to work with, and we'll talk about that after the match. Not always that easy. I mean, if they're close enough, a big bruiser like Artanis or Asmodan or Dibbles, you know, the bigger they are, the further out you can be. So that one death over there was actually a case of my deflect not being up as quickly as I had hoped. So I died, and Johanna died, which is a little bit weird. I'm 5-9-1 now. Falling behind in the assist. Kills are still good. XP is still phenomenal, considering it's a Genji. And hero damage is okay. Obviously, Vala's destroying, but my hero damage is comparable to the hero damage on their side, and I'm beating their Genji. Their Genji went Pathfinder, Strike at the Heart, Cyber Shield, X Strike, and he hasn't picked. So here I pick up the turret that got dropped. And we're so close, it's not worth using it to assist on this payload, so I hold on to it. I could have jumped into the Li Ming over there and deflected all of that back at her, but I just figured ensuring core shots would be a little bit more beneficial. So we have 21, they have 3. We have 4 shots in our core left. They have 2. Here, just cleaning up a little bit of trash so I can get some orbs. he decided to go Shingon, just like me. I mean, if you're dive happy and you believe in your team and protection from your team, like Medivh's and stuff, Tassadars, it may not be too bad. But for that, so what was happening there was I was trying to drop the turret, but it was restricting me, so I was getting weirdness over there, and I was accidentally retreating from the fight that I didn't want to. I had way more kills to get in that fight, but I was trying to drop a turret for surprise extra damage on that fight, and there was just a restriction, and I wasn't quite seeing the restriction at first. But suspense over here, there is a really, really funny deflect moment coming up. So I went with Reflect, where I deal additional damage. When I was looking at Genji last night, I thought I might favor a deflect build and do as many deflect things as possible, and it's actually pretty solid. Again, dove in, saw some pressure on me, jumped out. I wanted to stick to this Artanis-like blue when I saw our Johanna coming in. So I do believe the really cool deflect moment is coming up. It involves the Lucio. Yeah. Let's go to the replay and watch that again. So the enemy Lucio is running reverse amp. So reverse amp, if he's on his speed song, slows you down. If he's on his heal song, reverse amp causes damage to the enemy team along with healing his team. So it's going to back this up a little bit. And you have to see this again, because I sort of was not really focused on exactly what was happening there, because I was looking to the south of me, just trying to keep an exit plan in mind. And just, this is hysterical melting over here. So it's coming up. Let's see, is there a slow? No. Okay, decrease speed. Oh, I can't decrease it below normal. So here, I jump in. And I don't want to get hit by the enemy turret. So here comes the deflect. And let's watch the Lucio's health. Look at that. He literally had 0.5 seconds of his reverse amp deflected back in his face, and that's it. He suicided on me. And here, you know, I know I got some friends around me and everything, so I'm just kind of poking the turret a little bit, but they back out, so I'm leaving too. We have 30 kills to their 3. No new talents for me, no new talents for him. I have 6 kills. I've now fallen behind with the Johanna and the Vala getting 9. Assists are about average for the team. Still leading the server in experience. And hero damage is kind of poo. Here we go for the boss for the win, similar to Towers of Doom. He X-strikes desperately. And that is the game. But, let's just go back for a moment. No, too far. To watch what a deflect-based build could do. And I mean, I understand this is an extremely rare moment. Not everything is going to cosmically line up for this kind of reflected damage. I would say Chromies, Li Ming's, a reverse amp Lucio, potentially a Lightning Breath Diablo. Trying to think if a Probius Crystal alt would be, if he could reflect a bunch of that back. And who does it get reflected to? Does it get reflected over to the Probius, or does it get reflected on the crystals? Alright, so I'm running from here. It's not too far in the future. I think it's, if you just know that there's somebody with a high amount of burst, like maybe a Vala with spin to win, might work. Maybe not Vengeance, but Rain, Arrow Rain over there. I wonder, so what did she do? She did Rain of Vengeance, okay. The other ultimate that is not Rain of Vengeance might be another good burst for deflection. Here it comes, here it comes. Dash in. Deflect is up. It's reflecting some of his stuff back at him. And boom. I mean, yeah, Vala's in there too. And she's shielded, but right from the second that reverse amp went out, I really do believe that was reflecting back at him on that. That was just a lot of damage. So let us take a look at his talents and everything, and then we'll wrap up the video. So like I said, my first Genji match was absolutely awful. Not a very good team as compared to the last one that we saw there. So there's the skin that I'm using. So his default skin is that. That's another of his colors. That's another of his colors. And then this is the one you can make from the shards, which is kind of like default, but like cat mode. Here's his store skins, which is the Oni Genji, and then he only has two masters. Master Dragon and Master Dion, which is garish as fuck. In this loadout, I found the best is the green Void Speeder. And I don't have any other sprays or banners really, so banners are kind of poo for that. So his abilities. Difficulty hard, I kind of agree. Shurikens, 3 charges. Deflect, channel for 1.25 seconds, sometimes feels longer. Becoming protected, blocking damage. Any damage blocked while channeling causes Genji to throw kunai toward the nearest enemy, prioritizing heroes and dealing damage. Swift Strike, dash forward, dealing 215 damage to all enemies in a line. Enemy heroes that die within 2 seconds of being hit cause the cooldown and mana cost to be refunded. Cyber Agility, jumping to an area including over terrain. Dragon Blade, which I used, and X Strike, which reminds me of Chrono and Frog, was what the enemy Genji used. Talents. For 2 matches in a row, I've done Swift as the Wind, but I now see that it was only if it hits an enemy hero, but I still think it's good. Cyber Agility, while mounted, just seems like it's only about strict engagement. However, the cooldown being reduced by 5, I think is good, because now you have get in and potentially a very quick get out. What is the cooldown on it? So 5 seconds, yeah, I think that makes for a very, very divey Genji. And if you have faith in yourself and your teammates, I do believe Agile Dismount would probably be better. Because you can run right up to fights, jump in, and probably use it to jump out. And not have to, well, you can run up to a fight, jump in, Swift Strike is still available to you, and hopefully you jump out. So that's a lot of mobility. That's pretty good. Shuriken Mastery is what I went with the second map. And I did get up to the 35 and the 75. The first map, and I had planned last night to do Dragon Claw. This has got a very, very tough icon. It looks full on your UI, and you could still be up to 20 or even 30 damage away. But it looks full, like you don't see a gap. Tough ability to maintain because of that. I kind of don't like it due to that. You think it's up and you're hitting it, and technically it's not. So I chose Shuriken Mastery and I completed it, so I think I may go with that in the future. At 7, I've done Augmented Guard, gain a shield after the deflect ends. Perfect Darkness probably would also be cool. Cyber Shield, nah. Dodge, yeah, I mean, lots of heroes have had Dodge. I've picked it often in my lifetime, but I kind of like Augmented Guard. Dragon Blade is what I went with twice in a row. The first map, I found it a little unwieldy. It was kind of, at first, tough to figure out. But I know now what it is that Q becomes swipe, deflect stays in place, swift strike stays in place, and your heroic ability, R, also becomes the dash. So it's like dash, normal, normal, dash. Excuse me, I should say ultimate dash, normal, regular dash, ultimate dash is how it looks on your UI. Here I did Shingun twice. Hitting heroes reduces swift strike cooldown. If you're doing agile dismount up here, and then you do flow like water down here, and you know you're hitting your swift strikes, you are divey as shit. And you have a lot of in and out. And you could probably be a little bit more aggressive. Also, Cyber Agility comes into play. Stores 2 charges, but its cooldown is increased by 5 seconds. So if you decreased it by 5 here, and then increase it back, you now have 2 for the price of your original 10 seconds. Divey as shit. Both of these create aggressive Genjis, especially if you did agile dismount over here. Increases deflect damage is what I did twice. Swift strike deals extra damage to all enemies in an area after 1 second, or each enemy hero hit by swift strike increases the damage of the next one by 20% and it stacks. I like Reflect because of being conservative. You know, plus there is also deflect hits all enemy heroes. So if you've blocked 6,500 so far, your deflect hits all enemy heroes. So that's what I was thinking of with the deflect build, is that the more buffs you give it, and honestly that could make a good case for Perfect Darkness, because if it's up more times you have more chance to deflect. So this probably pays off in the long run if you want to do Zanshin. If not, then you may want to stick with Augmented Guard, especially if you don't have a lot of good healers or shielders. But if you really want to do Zanshin at 20, which I think is viable, I would definitely pick Reflect over there and pick Perfect Defense over there. So at 20 on each of the 2 maps that I played, I did each time Dragon Blade hits an enemy hero, the duration is increased by 1 second. Now that I know how Dragon Blade works a little bit better, I'll feel more comfortable picking that. Living Weapon, that's just kind of the same buff, but for Living Weapon. And then there's Sharpened Stars. Shurikens now pierce all enemies hit. Now pierce all the enemies hit. So it'll go through them. I would say that's good if for some reason you were still on your quest. But if you did Shuriken Mastery and you completed it, you now have the damage increased by 30. And if you are using Cyber Agility, you're recharging your Shurikens well. So you can jump out of combat and kite backwards with Shurikens. And you now have high damaging Pearson Shuriken. So I think if you are still on the quest and want to complete it, this is good, and if it is completed, it's just more payoff because you're hitting more people with buffed shuriken. So there is some definite synergy through his talents. You just have to plan ahead a little bit better. You kind of have to play chess with your own talents over here and kind of decide what you want to do. So I didn't really find... I mean, nothing is this green other than the speeder, which is why I went with that. I mean, not even... This horse is just a little bit too forest green. That neon kind of matches the swords, which is why I went with that. Banners, it's not like I really have any. It's not like I want to spend shorts crafting any banners. Although, you know, hey, making an Overwatch one if I'm playing Genji would be cool. Don't own any sprays yet. Don't want to craft anything like a spray, but I got some loot boxes today. So I'll open one of these. So I have a Medivh pack of these for emoticons. Emojis. Cartoon Tychus spray. Oh, cool. Finally a spray. Nice. The Rexar ones are stupid as hell. That looks like Sad Batman. That looks like Batman. This looks like Sad Batman. This looks like Raspberry Batman. And that looks like Batman got laughing gas. A rare skin for Karzin that I don't have. That's pretty cool. I will not re-roll that. And just for you guys, I'll open one of my hundreds of epic chests over here. Warcraft 3 Thrall Portrait. That's the box from some of the Warcraft games. Another Day Stim Pack. Looks like I'll have a legendary. Nice! A new skin for Stitches that I don't have. That's pretty cool. Legendary. Ooh. Ooh, I have been tempted for that skin on several occasions. Yeah, that's tough because I went Master Zagara, but now Master Zagara doesn't mean as much as it used to because anybody can get a Master skin, so... Yeah, this is the Zagara that I've been playing with for a long time now, and somebody actually recognized it in a match recently. They were like, ooh, Master Zagara. But tempting. And I don't really have to worry about the mount if I keep her on her wings. Like, that one was just too default. That one seems too Wrath of the Lich King, so I went with the orange, but I have been tempted to buy the Sand Desert one, and I think I'll go for it. I think I'll leave it with that. Stitches. Where is my Stitches? He's fairly low. He should be fairly low. There he is. So, I had been running Christmas tree Stitches in pink. And, you know, there's red. There's the pink. There's the blue. I've been running the pink for a while, but I think I'll do the chef one. No, I kind of like the Christmas tree. Because it's themed. And I was sitting on a rainbow unicorn just crushing the shit out of it. So it looks like 3 stock, 3 store, 3 chef, and 3 kings. Doesn't look like they added a... Yeah, they didn't add one to his default model. It's weird how they did that. They added an extra one on the beginning tier to some heroes. Some heroes they didn't. I think I'll keep the Stitches. So, thanks for checking out this video, everybody. Hope you are enjoying HOTS 2.0. And if you've played Genji, let me know what you think of him. I think of him as pretty fun. I don't think of him as squishy as Valeera and Vala. Not Vala, excuse me. Valeera and Dryad Chickie. Where did she go? Where is my Lunara? She should be pretty high. I thought she should be a master. I don't know why I'm missing her. There she is. Yeah, so she's all the way up at 19 for me. Lunara and Valeera, I think, were a little squishy in the beginning. Even Chromie, I think Genji comes in with a little bit more hardiness to him. And honestly, his agility increases his hit points because he gets in and out of danger quickly. So, there you go, guys. If you've played Genji, let me know what you think. Peace out, everybody.